Yeah, so web scraping is all about you're trying to extract some large amount of data from the web. Obviously, that can be, yeah, Trivago, wherever you see the collections offers and all the things, they try to extract. That is for marketing purposes. They don't reveal the data. Even this web scraping, they take out now these resumes and all the things. Some companies which work on recruitment, they try to scrape the data from the web, and some may use for better purposes. So the overall motive of session is to how Python is helpful for web scraping. That means we'll try to extract the content from the web and we'll try to convert that thing into a data frame. That means as a data set. That's how you'll try to, you can have any kind of format, because data frame in the sense SQL is a database management software. XML and all the other formats are the hypertext format. These are markup languages. The thing which we do is we try to convert that extracted data set into a data frame. That's how our thing works it out. So this plays a very key role, and the Python is very simpler to extract the content from the web. Even we have Java, JavaScript, you can go for any other programming languages, but Python plays a very key role and easy way to extract content from the web, because we use some simple packages, and for that we prefer Colab. So probably every one of you might be using laptops instead of Spider, or because in Spider you may not visualize the table, all the frames. So what we prefer is we prefer Google Colab. Yes, am I clear? That's how we are going to go with today's session. What I prefer is just open your Google Colab. You can see my screen, right? You just open your Google Colab. You should sign with your Gmail. You need not install any packages. If you are preferable with Jupyter, you can go with Jupyter. So what I suggest is, you can see my screen, right? You can see the Colab which I have opened. Now you can see, you need to update it. That's it. So just open Collaboratory. You cannot read the content. You can use Spider, but the thing is, you can, because the Spider output is simple icon IPython console, you cannot read each and every table or frame. So that is the reason, for visualization purpose we use Colab. You need to install all the packages, because the package which we are going to use is Beautiful Soup and URL lib. URL lib is to open the extract the URLs, and Beautiful Soup is used to extract the content from the web. So that is the reason we prefer Colab. You can use idle, but you need to install all the packages: pip install URL lib, pip install Beautiful Soup. So what I suggest is we'll go for Colab. Yes, is it fine, everyone? Yes, let's go with it. Let's import the packages. We'll use Pandas, NumPy, Beautiful Soup, and URL lib. So Pandas, because our concern is to, we'll extract content from this website, which is known as www. You can go for any website, but I prefer this simple website where we are having the, you can see this, right? hubertiming.com, where we have some tabular content. This is a web page. It's fine because my laptop is not something like GPU based. That is the, I don't prefer, we don't use in local laptops. We have the CUDA platform. So it's fine. We need not do anything because we are trying to just scrape the data. It's fine. No need to change the settings. We'll use this URL, hubertiming.com. This is a URL. Let's go for it. First, import the packages. I import Pandas. You rename it as PD. You import NumPy. So Pandas is for making a data frame. NumPy is to go for numerical Python, where you use some numerical calculations, because in Python you're having mathematical calculations with the help of math library, but we use NumPy for statistical kind of things, or for reading out the data in array form. So use NumPy over there. So Pandas is for making the, right, I'll make it in the next step, but we first import the packages. I'll paste the URL in the chat box. First, let's import the packages. Our packages are NumPy and Pandas. will use URL lib or for opening the URLs. So what I'll use, from URL lib dot, you can get the suggestion over there, request import URL open, because we give the URL, our Python library will open the web page and will convert that thing into a data frame that we are going to see. Then we'll use our beautiful soup to extract the content out of it. URL library is for opening the URL page, and extracting the content is we go for beautiful soup. Make sure you write beautiful soup B capital and S capital. You execute it. You can press this pause symbol, that symbol that should execute. From URL lib dot request import URL open for extracting the content from the web. Web scraping is something like I try to extract content from the web. I don't need to use any other thing. I did not get your point. You can mount the drive, what you are saying. So beautiful soup is used to extract the content. URL lib is to open the browser. So my URL is this thing. We can use any URL, but obviously we are not doing any kind of crime. We are just reading out the content, but that depends on the type of data. That's how this recruiters and all web pages do not allow you to take the data, right? They have those security issues. I have pasted the URL over there. You can directly copy paste the URL. That's what we are going to see now. You define URLs of any variable, you copy that URL and read it out. So that should be in string. Otherwise your Python doesn't understand how to read it. See, URL lib is for opening the URL pages. That's the reason dot request. We are requesting it to open the web page from BS4. BS4 is the version of Beautiful Soup 4. That is the latest version. That is the reason I have imported Beautiful Soup. So Beautiful Soup is used to extract the content from the web, from the specific URL. URL lib is used to open that URL, because you're just mentioning the URL. Your Python program will open that URL and will paste the content directly here. We'll see the HTML tags, tables, we'll see all those things. Yes, those are older versions. See, in Python, we have 3.x version, 2.x. In the same way, we are having the older versions. The updated version is BS4. That is the reason I gave from BS4, import Beautiful Soup. Yes, is my query clear? Is your query clear? Someone asked. Yeah. Then we'll name a URL, we'll name a variable HTML is equal to, we'll ask it to open this URL. URL open of URL. We'll just execute it. You don't print off HTML code directly over there. Our next step is to open that URL, and we need to get the page directly. You need to get that page. So what do I do? See, this step is for taking the URL and opening the URL. If you type HTML off directly, you just get the response code of it. That means your HTML, that is a variable name, it is opening that URL, and you need to retrieve the content from that URL. So then you use your Beautiful Soup. Soup is equal to Beautiful Soup of, so you can see markup. What is your markup language? HTML. And the features are where I use LXML format, because if I don't give out this thing, you can see you need to press shift enter. Roja, you can directly press shift enter, or you can go for run option over there. If I directly execute this, see, if I print soup, it is running. See, I think I'm going a bit slower itself. Okay. Is everyone clear? First, you are importing the packages. Yes. Then you have give out the URL link. Then you asked it to open. Then you made to extract the content from the web with the help of Beautiful Soup of HTML. And if you are running in the local system, you need to give out the feature as LXML, only to read out the content. Otherwise, you can directly give out soup. See, just a minute. You can directly give out HTML here. The format is, just a minute, it is able to retrieve the content. See, I'll execute once again. Is it clear till here? Beautiful soup of HTML. Then the next step is we are trying to take out the content from beautiful soup. Instead of directly printing soup, what we'll give out is, let's check the type of it. We should get the class as beautiful soup, so that whatever the procedure we are going, that is correct. See, it is given the class of bs4.beautifulsoup. See, you'll understand. First step, we are trying to, you open the URL, then we are trying to extract the content from the web page with the help of beautiful soup. We're giving out the variable. Then step by step, we'll go for extracting the title of the page. See, you can see, what is the title of the page here? Generally, what do you mean by title of the page? See, the title of the page is 2017 Intel Great Place to Run. Can you see that? What is the title of the web page? hubertiming.com results. What is the title? You can see in the top of the web. You can see, yes. So we can get we can extract the title, we can extract the styles, and at the end will be, yes, it is shown in the tab. You can see over there. For getting the title, what I'll do is, I go for simply title is equal to, you can go for soup dot title. So you get the suggestion over there, soup dot title. Then we can directly print it. Print of title. Just a minute, let's check over there. We should get the title as 2017 Intel Great Place to Run. So we are not getting anything over here. So let's make the default feature as LXML, because that is also the version to take out the content from the page. We get the class. You got the title as 2017 Intel Great Place to Run. Yes, everyone. Let me rerun the code for myself, because we are extracting the content from the web. So let me run it. You did not get? Yes, see, it is used to extract the content from the web. You got title as 2017 Intel Great Place to Run. Yes, you can also get directly soup.title, title tag, you'll get the title tag. So the next step is, we'll go for extracting the style. You can directly give soup.title, or you can assign to a variable. I think that part is clear. So if we run line by line, we'll understand. So the next step is, I go for soup.style. Let's go for soup.style. See, if you can see over here, you get the complete CSS styling of the web page. Do anyone have the idea of this? He has CSS and the HTML, because HTML, CSS, everything is used in the front end. See, soup.style, it entirely gave you the content. So let me show it here. You can go to the web page. Yes, you can view page source. You can right click on the web page and you can see view page source. See, this is the entire styling, because anyone can write HTML tags, but we need to give some styling effects to it. So CSS stands for cascading style sheets. So this is how the entire styling we have extracted. That is how, yes, you can inspect. If you inspect, you get the HTMLs and stylings, everything. But if you go for view page source, you can get the entire page information. You can do anything, right? So that is how we got soup.style to get the style of the page. Is it clear till here, everyone? I think you're following to get the title and to get the styles. Yes. So the next step is, we'll try to extract the tags and the tables and table headers. We'll go for that part. Then you can also get text out of it. Print of soup.get_text. See get underscore text. Once you give out get underscore text, you can see the entire text of the web page, which includes td, tr, table, th. Unable to get title, you can rerun the URL. Probably you need to go first step and you need to rerun the URL. See, if I go for entire text, I get everything. You can go for soup dot get underscore text. So it's a lengthy one. You should scroll up. Yes, I'll tell everything. TR stands for table rows. TD stands for table cells. TH stands for table headers, because those are HTML tags. You can see the entire information of the web page. You can inspect and you can view page source. See, as I have shown here, everything you got over there. That's how we are giving the get text. If we give out style, we get only the CSS style. And the HTML tags include, you can see, A for hyperlinks, table for tables, TR for table rows, TH for table headers, TD for table cells. These are the HTML tags. If anyone has some bit background about that thing, then you can understand. So you have everything. You have the meta tags, you have the TH and TD. So TH stands for table headers, TD stands for table. So our next task is to make sure we go for extracting individually how table headers and table rows, and we'll try to extract individual thing. Yes, TH stands for table headers, TR stands for table rows. Yes, is that clear? So our next step is to make sure we extract individual thing. I hope everyone is following. Can we proceed to the next step? So at the end, you'll feel a bit interesting because we'll be creating a data frame out of that web page. Let's go for it. Next, extract the content one by one. So we have used get text for getting the text, and then if you want to separately find out the links, the external links or whatever the things we have given, old code that is at the top, Nikhil, you can scroll up, because we are running cell by cell. It moves line by line because you cannot see the entire thing if you go for Spider, because Spider is an editor. You can give soup.link. You can get the link. See, you get link cross origin is equal to anonymous. Href is equal to stack path. So we are extracting on the contents of the source. Yes, we are extracting the contents out of the web page. That web page, hubertiming.com. You can give any web page, but in that web page you should have a table, because the final step is we need to create a data frame. That is our motto in today's session. You give soup.link, you can get, see, you can scroll to that page. What did you get over there? The first style sheet, because I gave soup.link. If you want to find out all the links, then you can go for soup. You use find all. You can get the suggestion over there. Find all of, you give out the link. See, you can use shift and enter to run the cell, each individual cell. See, your entire code will be present. This is line by line execution, something like interactive mode. You need not, in Colab and in Jupyter, you need not, see in Spider also, you need not install anything, but Spider, you should see the output at the top bottom, right side bottom. So for your easy understanding, see, that is request is from requesting, whether you are requesting your APIs. Request depends. If you are trying to build an API, we use request library. Here our thing is to use the request in URL lib. Let me just rewind once again. If you are having any queries, you just see. Even though I'll share the material, you just don't worry. You import the packages. In URL lib, you use request to open the URL. Then Beautiful Soup is used to extract the content. You give out the URL. Then you make it into a variable so that you can extract the content out of it. First, we have seen title. Then we have seen the styling of it. Then we have seen the text out of it. Each table headers, table rows, table cells. Then we are seeing the links, right? This link gave each and every link. You can inspect the page source. See, these are all links we got because I gave find all of all the links. Yes, is that clear? Did you get all the links by giving find all? Yep. So let's go for the next thing. If you want to have only references or only hyperlinks, where hyperlinks are denoted as A in tags, HTML tags, TR indicates table rows, TH indicates table headers. So for indicating only hyperlinks, I use find underscore all. This is something like we are trying to extract each and every simple thing. We are extracting the links and everything. So these are all hyperlinks present in that web page. Yes. So these hyperlinks, you can go for the page source and you can see the hyperlinks. A stands for hyperlinks, TH stands for table headers. You can print each and everything. Yes, but you should print it in quotations. That means you are reading out that specific kind of tag, HTML tag into your cell. You can see A database because in Colab, this will be saved to your drive automatically. You can download it as IPython notebook file. Colab supports for Python programming. You can check it out here because you'll be having this. So A stands for hyperlinks because in Colab, you can see in the top right side, it gives out the RAM and how much amount of thing it is allocating for us because this is entirely for student purpose. You can see it is giving you RAM 12.72 GB and disk space is around 107 GB. First, we'll save it as .ipynb file because we'll extract that as data frame. We'll discuss at the end, Nikhil. We'll show you. If you want to take out tables, soup dot find underscore all, you mention the tag inside the find all. Table gives you tables, right? So you can print table. You can see the entire table got printed in the format of TDs. TDs for table cells, TR for table rows. You can just scroll upward. It depends on you whether you want to print the tables or I'll go for the beginning so that you can check it out. Yes, see this is table finishers. This is the first one where you can see in the web page. Let's open the page. Let's find out where finishers is. Finishers is in the top. You can see that is in the top of the page, right? Because this is also aligned as a tabular format. That is the reason I got finishers, male, female, award, name, everything is printed in the format of tables. Yes, is that clear? Did everyone get that thing? Or if anyone is having issues? Yes. So our next step is to extract. After extracting the tables, we'll extract. You can go for T reference, table rows, everything in quotations. You can scroll down, see if everything is present in the format of list. If you want to take it out, you can make sure. See, I gave A, I got each and every hyperlink, and I'll try to make that in an individual alignment. See, because if I gave find all of A, I got everything in the format of list. I want to take it out. How to read each and every content out of list? Any guess? How to read each and every value out of list? We have two ways. Can anyone? How to read each and every element out of list? Any guess? Exactly. We go for loop. That's the reason I gave for loop over there. Because all links is a sequence over there. I print. I use link.get to get each and every hyperlink in the format of each and every line. See timing.com, hubertiming.com. In the previous thing we got in the format of this because A stands for hyperlinks. I'm unpacking it, you can say. That's what we are doing in the format of list. So we have given a sequence over here, link.get of H-reference, because H-reference stands for this hyperlinks. Hyperlink reference. Href stands for hyperlink reference. Did you get this thing? We are unpacking that and we are reading line by line. You can see the same thing in the page source. You can go to the page source and you can scroll bottom. You can find out those things. See, in the bottom, you're having the H references. H references of hubertiming.com, Facebook, wherever H reference is present. Beautiful soup. Yes, I'll let you know everything once we are going, because we only prefer the official documentations. You don't refer anything. You just prefer the official documentations of Python packages. Now, what I'll do is I want to take out table rows out of it. This is just something like analyzing each and every tag from the web page. So I'll use of my basic Python knowledge. Again, I use find all of, what do I go? I go for TR. TR stands for table rows, right? So if I want to read out the first 10 rows out of it, so if I print them, so you get in this format, you get the first 10 rows, which includes finishers, mail, award, name, combined. You can scroll down. Yes, I'll make it in the format of loop. Now, simple. You give it in a sequence for I in A. You just print off I. That's it. Then you get your loop ready. You get each line by line. Finishers, male, female, award, name. The first 10 rows within this one, within this web page, because we are taking out the table rows. What are the rows within the table? Yes, is this clear? First 10 rows, we are extracting the first 10 rows of the web page because that includes different tables. TR stands for table rows. Yes, am I clear till here? If everyone is facing issue, please check that in chat box. Yep. So TR stands for table rows. Then we go for table cells. Same. You go for find all. We use for loop and we print last row. So that will convert that last row into a list and will clean the data. Yes, you can do it in Jupyter Book, Navneet. So Colab is some may or may not have Anaconda. So that is the reason I am using Colab. So everyone will have Gmail account, so they can directly use it. Okay. So I define my variable name as A, because where I have extracted all the rows with the help of table rows. What you are not getting output. So now my next thing is to extract the table cells, because I'll be giving row underscore TD for extracting the table cells. Same, find all. Yes, we'll be doing at the end. We'll be doing merging of different tables and we'll be eliminating the null values. We'll be doing all the things. We are not doing about an image here because we are directly extracting the tabular data. If you want to image tag, that cannot be done with this, because Beautiful Soup is for extracting the text content of the data. If you want image, then we can go for image libraries. That's then another part. You can also extract the images, but you take that as source file and you copy that location. So what I'll do, I print, okay, row underscore TD. TD stands for table cells. TR stands for table rows. TH stands for table headers. You just run it out. You can get, as I'm using for loop, I get the last cell out of it. Let me copy this and let me show over there. You can check it in the original web source, www.td stands for table cells, right? You can check it out here. See, you're having here, because the loop is iterating. If you write inside the loop, You get each everything. That's the reason I came out of the loop. Our main concern is to remove the tags now, because we are having the tags, right? TD. Now our concern is to remove the tags. That's where again beautiful soup comes into picture. Yes, is it clear? TD stands for table cells. We are getting the tags out of here. Now our concern is to make sure the tags are removed and our data is clean. Someone has posted an error. Class from BS4, it's not BE4, BS4. The library is from BS4 import beautiful soup. That's the library name. Someone has posted an error. So we need to remove the tags. I define my cells. You can rename any variables. That's not an issue. That depends on your interest, whatever the thing you do. So I convert that into string format, so that I need to clean the data. What is my data? Row underscore TD, which stores all the tabular cells data, because I gave find all of TD. TD stands for table cells, which whatever the content is present in the format of tables in the web page. Then we clean the text with the help of what you do. You go for beautiful soup. Beautiful soup of, you give out the HTML tag, but the HTML tag is not needed because we have already taken the tag of TD. What does TD stands for? Table cells. So you give out str underscore. Let me get back to that error just a minute. Once I type this, I'll clarify your error. The format is LXML and I want to get the text. Get the text out of it. Yes, then you print the clean text. Our concern is to remove the tags in the above cell. We have the tags, right? TD, fifth, TD, TD, FXG1. Our concern is to remove those tags, which is present inside the list. You just execute. You can see beautiful soup, S should be capital letter. Whoever posted the error in chat box, beautiful soup, B and S should be capital letter. Navneet, you just check it out. Now you can see the tags are removed, right? Now our concern is to clean the entire web page data by using regular expressions. That's where the original task comes into picture. Here we have used just tags. It may take nearly more 15 to 20 minutes, but we are going to enjoy the session. So we have used TD, table cells, TR, table rows, and we have used everything. Now we have got a clean data, which is the table cells. Yes, is it clear till here, everyone? Now our concern is to use a regular expression, because regular expressions are mainly used for text processing, where you find out the patterns. Yes, that is basically pattern matching, where you go for that. Regex is used in JavaScript or PHP, whatever. You get your login form. Yes, the login form is, you include the password. The password should fill with the characters. Some bank sites may ask capital letter, small letter, special symbol. That all comes under regular expressions. So our task, beautiful soup, from BS4 import beautiful soup, B capital, S capital. I'll get back to you, Navneet, just a minute. So you can see here beautiful soup, S capital and B capital. Now we'll use the regular expression to find out the characters which are inside the HTML tags. That can be table cells and everything. We need to replace them, right? We need to replace all of them to get a proper synchronized data. Yes, someone said the exact thing what I wanted to tell. So let's go for it. So import the library. You need not install anything in Colab because everything is defaultly available. If you want to install, you can install pip install, because regular expressions need not be installed. That is a built-in module in Python. The only thing, if you're doing it in idle, you need to install beautiful soup and URL lib. For sure, we'll be sharing the file. No issues. First, you create an empty list because you need to remove all those tags. You give out the pattern, right? For loop, I take a for loop for row in all rows. You find out all the table cells tag. Cells is equal to row dot. You go for find all. You can get the suggestion directly. Find all of table cells tag. Yes, you may just follow the indentation that should be below the R. I think you get that indentation, right? Cell is equal to TD because our concern is to clean the entire data by removing the tags, whatever the tags which are present. So I give all the combinations. I make the angular braces because we are having the angular braces, right? Less than and greater than symbols for TD, TR, TH. Can you see over the top one? So we'll remove all those things with the help of regular expressions. So we use cell to find out we convert this every cell into, you may give this as cells because we are having n number. I'll share the file str of cells. Regular expressions are used for pattern matching because we go for substitution, matching, replacing. You can extract, I think you have extracted, if you have attended previous webinar, automating daily life with Python, we have used email extraction and phone number extraction because phone number have patterns, right? Shivam, I'll show you once a minute, just a minute. You have phone number pattern, 10 digits in India, mobile number, right? It starts with 9, 7, 6, and 8. 6, 7, 8, 9. So you give out the pattern, right? So that's how you train those specific kind of digits. /D for digits, /W for extracting each word. Because regular expressions will read out each and every format. So I've converted every data into string format. Then I'll give out here. This is where I use my compile method. You just follow it very clearly here because we give out all the things, star, question mark, less than symbol, greater than symbol, because we need to remove the angular braces. We need to clean the entire data. That's the reason I gave re.compile. So compile is used for giving out the pattern over there. Is it clear till here? Then we'll substitute the data with the clean data and we'll append that to the original data. That's how we print the cleaned data from the entire web page. So I rename a variable to, then we don't remove, I did not get your point, hyphen. Yes, where do we have hyphen over there? Because I'm giving angular braces, square, I mean less than symbol, greater than symbol. We are trying to make sure that every tag is removed with the help of this method, possible string. This will match an opening angle bracket following by anything and followed by closing bracket. See, the slash will be automatically removed because we search with the help of the pattern. That will be removed automatically. Only this pattern is used. So we substitute this data with the clean data and we give out the original data with the quotations. What is your original data? str of cells. Then we close the brace. See, clean, comma, space for original data because we are substituting this one with original one because this is the clean data, this is the original data. Space is the default thing which occupies because we are using re.substitute. We are substituting the original data with the previous data because we are cleaning the data. Then we'll append the entire data into the list. I think you know the append method. What does append method do? Adds each and every line or each and every element to the end of the list. Yes. Then we print the clean data. Print of clean 2. Yes. We have given out the pattern with the help of compile. less than and greater than symbols include opening and closing angular braces. Then we have substituted the original data with the modified data. Then we are appending the entire data to the list rows because I have given that as empty list. Then you print the clean data. So you get the entire data over here. Yes, did you get this? In the format of list. You just scroll upwards. You get the entire clean data. Okay, I'll explain it again. Someone asked me. So in the previous cell 33 cell, you can see over there you have removed the table cells, but I need to remove the entire thing from the entire web page because I'll be having angular braces and where for each and every tag. If you inspect the page source, you can get the entire thing. You can see the everything. So what I'll do, I need to use the entire web page to be clean. So for that, I use my pattern matching library called as regular expression. Because if you go for other programming languages, this becomes very complex in Java or JavaScript or anything. So I use my regular expressions RE library. I create an empty list. I use a for loop to find out all the table cells. Wherever table is present, take out all the cells and convert it into string format because regular expressions will read only text kind of data because we have given a pattern with the help of re.compile. Our pattern is opening and closing braces, right? Those are angular braces. Then we substitute with the compile data with the original data. Then you append to the original data, you print the list. You get each and every data form. If you scroll up, you can see, yes, is your question clear? You can scroll up, you can see the first one. You can directly scroll up. See the first one is finishers, 577. You can see the page finishers, 577. This is in the format of key and value in the format of dictionary. You have the same thing, right? Is this clear till here? Our data is clean. Then our next step is to convert that thing into a data frame. That's where our task lies. We have got a list, then we convert it into a data frame. Data frame is nothing but a tabular format, same as your Excel sheet. I think we use Excel sheet for storing the information, right? In the format of rows and columns. So we now do the same thing. That's the reason we have imported pandas, and to analyze that thing in the format of NumPy array, we used NumPy. Yep. We'll proceed for the next thing. I think everyone is following. Now we convert this thing into rows is not defined. That means you can check it in the top. For each row in rows, whatever you define in the top, you need to continue the same thing. Then we'll convert this thing into a data frame. You can give out any name. PD.pandas is renamed as PD. You can go for data frame. Data frame of what is your input over there? The list. We are converting that list into a data frame. So if you want to see the top 10 values, you can give df dot head is for top 10 values, tail is for last 10 values. See, you get the top 10 values. Did you get this thing? Top 10 values out of the list. First one is an empty list, then finishers. We need to modify much more things into this data frame because we are having the close braces, some data will be empty. That will be our next task. Did you get this data frame? Everyone? Did you create a data frame? That means a table format consisting of rows and columns. These are all the rows and the column is 0, which includes something like a data frame. We'll drop them. We'll clean the data. We'll go for cleaning the data. That's what we are going to do now. We'll go for data manipulation. We clean the data when we split the 0 column. That's what we are going to do now. Yes, shall we proceed? We'll proceed for data manipulation. That's where data frame, D capital, F capital, Hamza. Then you convert, you go for cleaning the data. df1 is equal to df of 0. You split that thing with the help of string dot split and you remove this with the help of expand is equal to true, where you try to expand that thing. True is Boolean. And now you print the top 10 rows. We are manipulating the data because here we are having some empty rows and we need to go for cleaning the data in the format what we want, because this is not because we are having only single column, but that is not correct according to the data, because we are having, if you go for the web page, you're having the names within the data, right? You can see the names, gender, city, and this table may have null values. So we go for manipulating the data. So I have given split the 0 column into multiple columns. I'm splitting this df of 0. This stands for the first column. I'm splitting it with multiple columns with the separation of commas, because it is in the format of an Excel sheet or CSV. We will recreate in the format of a data frame. I use split method and I wanted to expand it. If you run, you get a data frame consisting of all rows and columns, each and every data, because this data is splitted now into multiple columns by commas. Did you get this thing? 1:10 you get starting from 1 and 10, but in head you either give 10, or if you don't give anything, it gives the first 5 rows. You can see how many number of rows you want. For the analysis purpose, I have given directly. That is basically slicing. So you have got the multiple columns. Then the next part is to, we have some unwanted square brackets. You can see the finishers, we have those square brackets. Now we'll remove these square brackets. I think this is clear, right? We are splitting the entire data. First column is visible where I can read n number of columns here. Empty list, none, none, everything. And finishers, mail. You're having everything. Now we will like to remove this unwanted braces with the help of split. Same, I take df1 of 0 is equal to df1 of 0 dot string. So sorry, df1 of 0 dot split according to the string str dot split. Yeah, we can also do, for our main concern is to first extract the data. That's what web scraping is. Once you get an Excel sheet, you can visualize it, you can make that thing into prediction model, you can build a machine learning model. Everything is possible. We can do it. Our concern is to extract the data and show it in the format of a tabular format. That's what our agenda. See, you can remove those unwanted square brackets. Just df1 of 0 dot split of str dot strip. You need not split over here. You go for strip method, because strip is for removing the unwanted trailing spaces, right? Let me make it clear. We are splitting out here. We are splitting the data. df1 of 0 str dot split. Once you have splitted it, we are trying to str dot strip of removing the unwanted square braces, right? Did you get this thing? You can remove, you can see some unwanted square braces removed. We are having some more square braces. We'll make sure we remove all those things by removing unwanted data. You can see the content directly from 5th line, 5th row. You can see, you need to rerun again, Shakil. You can see over there. Did you get this output, everyone? You can also find out the table headers where because you can see you don't have any column names over there. Now our concern is to make sure we need to remove the unwanted data or missing data, and we need to find out all the table headers, right? You don't have any table headers over there. I'll rename my columns. I make sure I have the column names. So I go for same soup dot find all of, you give out table headers. Yes, then you create an empty list and you assign all the things in the same way what we have done in the previous thing. we would like to have the column names. That's our concern now. So you create an empty list. We are coming to the end of the thing. We may need some more 15 to 15 minutes. Make sure, because we'll be getting an tabular data at the end. We are trying to take it from the Excel sheet, from the web page. The column name, the variable names, you can give it whatever you want. You convert that thing into string. You can see column labels, because you make sure what is the variable name you gave here, because for finding out the table headers, my variable name is column labels. I'm converting that into string format. The same process we have defined in the above thing, clean text of 2, where again we use beautiful soup. Beautiful soup of, what is your input? Column underscore str, and the feature is LXML. Only to understand, we give out the proper arguments and we give out the text, get underscore text, right? Then we give out the header names, all underscore header. To understand easily, I'm giving out, because my list name is all underscore header, we append the entire data to the list, clean text 2, and you print it, print of all underscore header. Yes, can you see it? You run the cell. Now we get the column names, place, bib, name, gender, city. These are actually the column names in the table. You can go to the web page, hubertiming.com, and you can scroll down. You can see the table names. This is the table. Yes. So in the previous one, the top one is not actually table, because those are the results of the thing. This is actually table. So now our main concern is to make sure this has the column names of individual thing. We'll assign that as column names, and we create that thing. We concatenate both the data frames. Yes, did you get this thing? All the header names, place, bib, name, gender. Then we use again split function to remove those things. We follow the same steps. You just follow the similar procedure. Dot str dot split of, you split with a comma separated, and you expand. True, you are trying to expand it. Then you give out df3 dot head. The last thing is, we are talking about 44 cell. This is, we are converting the, we are creating the column labels, because we don't have any column labels in the top one. We need to give out the names for the columns. With the help of that, we go for table headers. TH stands for table headers. We convert the table headers into a list, right? We use this table headers, right? You can see when you, I skipped the step. Just a minute. Sorry, I did not convert that thing into data frame. Yes, we'll convert that thing into data frame. Yes. You convert that thing into data frame. df2 is equal to pd dot, I thought I have made it, data frame all underscore header, then df2 dot head. Now we get the data frame. See, you got this. Then you convert this thing into, you split that. You split those columns, because we are having that in a single column. We split it, which we have done in the earlier step. df2 of what is your column 0 dot string format. You use split with comma separating, and you expand it, which is a simple built-in method to expand it. Then you give out df3 dot head. Yes. Now can you see all 13 columns, 0 to 13, we are having that column names. Now we need to assign this thing into the previous data frame, df1. Yes, is it clear till here? We have come to the end of thing. We need to clean it and we need to write. So Now we'll concatenate both the data frames. So I create a list. At the end, I'll be sharing everything. Don't worry about that thing. I'll be sharing the recording. I'll be sharing this file. df3 is your column names. df1 is your data. We'll concatenate this thing with the help of the method in pandas, because pandas is the only data analytic tool in Python which is used in Python programming for analyzing the any kind of data that can be of text data or Excel sheet data or CSV file data or anything or database file. It is easy to convert one format to another format. See, concatenation is, we are concatenating both the data frames. Now you can see both the data frames are concatenated, and now you rename this thing. Now you change this thing into column names. Yes, did you get the concatenated data frame? pd dot concatenate of data frames, df3 and df1. df3 is your column, df3 is your first data frame, df1 is your first data frame, df3 is your data frame with all the column names, place, bib, name, gender, all the things. Let's print it only 5 because I may run the next cell. You can see it. The next step is to rename that, the rename as column names. df4 dot rename of what I want to rename, my columns. You can get the suggestion over there. Columns is equal to df4 dot, I need to locate. This is my step. Then if you print df5 dot head, columns is equal to df4 dot ilocate of 0, because I'm locating the first index. What is the first index? Place, bib, name, gender, city. I'm locating this. Ilocate stands for index location. Then you print df5 dot head. See, you got what you can see over there. Again, you're repeating. You're getting the same data over there. Place, bib, name, because you have only renamed it. Now we'll drop the necessary, unnecessary values with the help of drop null values in the pandas. Is it clear till here? We may have just more 10 minutes because we are at the end of it, but at the end you'll be satisfied what you have done. Yes. Now we'll rename it. We'll drop the unnecessary values. df6 is equal to df5 dot drop null values of, first one is I want to drop, I'll go with axis. What is my axis? Axis 0 stands for rows. Axis 1 stands for columns. How is equal to, so you're having any method, you take up wherever the null values are present, you drop them. Because we are having none, none, none. This all represents the null values in the data, because your data should be clean. If you have attended yesterday's session, I have shown you a PPT which includes Tom and Jerry, where Tom is taking the data, because the main headache lies for a data scientist. He need to clean the data. So I have dropped, even we can also drop the index. So df6 dot drop of df6 dot index of 0. You need to get a clean data. You can print each and individual. See, now you get a clean data. Place, bib, name, gender, city, state, chip time, chip pace, everything. Now what I'll do is, see, you're having a square brace for place and everything, right? You can see over there. Now what I'll do, I'll rename the column names. Very simple, with the help of rename method. Is it clear till here? Did you drop the first index? Yep. So we rename it df7 dot rename. We rename the columns. Columns is equal to, I give out square brace, place is being renamed to place accordingly, because this is the list. And I give out in place is equal to true. That means this should be applicable on the entire data without any changes. df7 dot rename of starting and ending, you mentioned columns is equal to curly brace. This is in the format where we give out columns. It starts at place, and you can see the last column name team, right? You can give out team. This should be for easy understanding. I'm creating df1 each and every variable. You can, because this is a data we are taking from website, you need to assign each and every variable. If it is a single data set, you can do it directly. Shashank, you can do it directly, but here we are trying to take it from web page, right? So I'm clearly assigning each and individual data frame. Not data frame, actually, we are creating individual variables. That's the reason to understand. So starting at place and ending at team. You can run it. Say now it is clear. You cannot have any, you have a clean data with place, bib, name, gender. And you may see in the last thing, you can scroll to the right side. Where you scroll, you can have some square braces, right? In the team, you can see the team column where you have some square braces. Now we'll remove them also. df7 of team, you can see all the column names in that. df7 of team dot str dot strip, because you want to remove those strips, because you are having those things in the last column. Just to remove those things, I'm giving strip, str dot strip. Strip always removes the trailing data. That can be a simple string. df7 dot head. See, now you don't have anything in that data, right? You can see over there, you can see the data is clean, right? df7 dot head, in the last column you can see. Now if you want to read out any column values, you can directly give out. See, you get a suggestion. If you want to read out the names, df7 of name, where you get each and every content out of the data. If you want to see the shape of the data, you can go for shape. Indicates how many rows and how many columns are present in the data. So you're having 577 rows. Yeah, you'll be provided, Kaushik. You are having 577 rows and 14 columns. And you can check out if you want to get the information of the data. That means, what is my data frame? This is the data frame where you'll be having all the column names. Your column names are place, bib, name, gender, city, state, and you're having non-null values. And every data type is string. You can see the data types as object. Object indicates the entire data frame. Yes. So this is how we have taken content from the web page. You can see this entire table is being printed over there. Because the first table is having null values, you don't have that table, and you can see the remaining data printed, 577 rows, 14 columns. Yeah, team symbols I have used strip Varun. You can see the 54th cell. You can see str dot strip, because strip removes the starting and trailing symbols. Whatever the present in the defined string, spaces or anything, it ignores. I can also remove those square braces or whatever the braces. So if you see at the end, you got a data frame, a clean data, which includes the data set of place, bib, name, gender. Then you can start whatever data you want to see, you can get out of it. This is how web scraping is very simple in Python. We have taken the data with the help of Beautiful Soup, and we have converted it into a data frame. Name gives out, you can read out individual content data directly in the format of data frame. df7.head. Did everyone get? Information gives what are the column names present in the data? Yes. If you're having any queries, we are open for it. I hope you learned something from it, because we have extracted the content from the web page and we have built it into a data frame. Yes. Yeah, I'll send you the copy of the code. Yeah, you can do it in any website, but that website should have tabular data, because if you go for python.org, you don't have any tabular data. You should have a website with tabular data.